What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about 5 gadgets that I want to return in the new Batman game. Now, this was requested to me. I'm going to probably butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Nasir Altai. I hope I'm saying that right, but thank you for suggesting this. I do want to do a video like this. You know, people have asked me for a very long time to do videos on gadgets, and I'm not necessarily a gadgets guy. You guys know me by now. I'm not really a gadgets guy. I'm not really a costumes guy, although Marvel Spider-Man definitely turned me on to costumes in general, but I do want to make some of these videos. So I'm going to do 5 gadgets I want to return in the new Batman game, and then if you guys like this video, I'll do one on gadgets that I don't want to return. Technically, there's a couple of weirder ones in this list that I'm going to explain that I want to return, but I kind of want changed, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to be using the Batman Arkham Wiki, which actually is very useful for situations like this, because I don't remember all the gadgets in this game. I believe there are 29 if you look on their list, 29 gadgets. Some of them were used in only specific games, so we'll address that when we get to them. Obviously, I'm leaving a lot of these out. These are kind of just, again, the biggest ones that relate to me, and again, we'll do a video later on ones that I don't want to see back or ones that could be changed altogether. So, number one, and I guess this is in no particular order. I know a lot of my ranking videos are in order. This one is just 5 of them in general. The Batarang. You really cannot have a Batman game. I think you can't have Batman in general without the Batarang. Now, there's different ways they've used it in these games that I do think are kind of clever. Again, different kind of mechanics, different kind of ways to use it to progress in story and to solve kind of puzzles and stuff like that. I think it's solid. You can use it in fighting, and honestly, a lot of these are with fighting in mind. I feel like not all of them, but a lot of them are with fighting in mind. Obviously, using like the quick throw Batarang, like when you're in the middle of a battle, or just again using the Batarang to solve puzzles. Obviously, it's kind of needed. I feel like there's probably some innovation they need to bring along with it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I think what it is, it's very solid. Obviously, again, very recognizable. When you think of Batman, you think of the Batarang, so it would be a pretty big disservice to this list if I didn't include it. Number 2 are the shock gloves. Now, these are only in Arkham Origins. You get these in Arkham Origins, you can use them there. They're found in Arkham Knight. You can see them in like the GCPD like weapons area thing. And I guess based off of this wiki, it says like the general idea is that Batman just didn't like using them, that he prefers to just beat people up like normally, right? Obviously, he has no problem doing that. I think this would be pretty cool. Also, the fact that this was in Origins and really in nothing else kind of speaks to it's kind of Warner Bros. Montreal's thing. And there's other ones that are like that aren't on this list, but again, obviously, because it is Arkham Origins, it does have that connection. I think it's a pretty cool thing. I always liked using them. Just very overall solid. I like electricity. You know, you guys know me by now. Water is like my number one thing, right? I'm like a sucker for water. Electric powers is probably like my number 2. Like Infamous games were always just so amazing because of electricity and stuff like that. So shock gloves, again, because of the electric aspect to it, make this list. And again, I think it would just kind of be fun for fighting. It makes sense because of Warner Bros. Montreal. I feel like they would maybe use some older stuff that they have used before, right? And so that's why it makes my list. Now, number 3 is the remote hacking device. Now, this is an example, and I guess I'll give the next one will also be an example of what I do want innovation and big change. So, like, obviously, Batarang and even shock gloves, like, they're not going to be exactly the exact same, right? They're not going to literally be the exact same as they've been in the past. But with something like this, remote hacking device, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot they have done in the past with Batman games, these Arkham games, with it. And I think it's honestly very important that, again, you innovate. And you can, I mean, I don't want this to be like Watch Dogs, the Arkham edition, you know what I mean, or Watch Dogs Batman edition, but I think this is something, and honestly, I'm gonna break tradition here. The cryptographic sequencer, remember that, which is kind of another almost hack-like device. I'm gonna throw this in there in the same kind of category because they're both kind of used for like fun little mini games slash, again, kind of a little bit of stuff that can solve puzzles. These are 2 things I'm gonna again lump into the same category. I want these to return. Honestly, even like the sequencer, I always had fun kind of matching like the radio waves. I like doing that. I know that's kind of it's like a cheesy method that a lot of games use. In fact, I think even Spider-Man used it in its game too, right? I mean, it's a model. It's a kind of thing that games have used for literally decades, right? Obviously, it's been innovated and changed and stuff, but I do want these to return. They are fun. They're not something that you focus on all too heavily, but I think there's honestly a lot of room for improvement with them. So again, these are kind of under the assumption that they're going to be better than they have been before. And with that being said, the next one, this is number 4, and then we have one more after this. This one, detective mode. Detective mode, I guess, qualifies as a gadget. gadget. Now, I wouldn't have said that in the past, so maybe you could say, man, you're just breaking all these traditions. But when you go on the official, I guess not, I mean, they didn't create this, right? But Batman's wiki page, detective mode is considered one of the 29 gadgets. So I felt like, again, it would be kind of a disservice to not talk about this. Here's the deal. I said this before, so I'll say it again here to kind of recap and give some new info. Detective mode, I think the potential for it is so good. I like what they've done at times with it. I know some people even said, what about what they did with the VR game? Honestly, the detective mode and figuring out how things happen in that VR, that case files kind of game for Batman, I love that. I thought that was actually really, really cool. Now, that was back at the beginning of like PlayStation VR. I was one of like the only games I bought like around the exact same time, so maybe I was just like giving credit to like anything I saw in that moment, but I really liked it. And again, I've said in the past, I actually like what Telltale did with it in their games, kind of really trying to build a crime scene. And I get that's what Arkham games have done before, but as I've always said, I like it. I like the potential of it. I want it to return, but I want it completely changed. I really want to feel like the world's greatest detective. I truly do want to feel that. And I don't feel like detective mode in the past games have really given me that. Now, again, that's just my opinion, firstly. I understand that doesn't reflect everybody's, but it's kind of just always been a thing I've focused on in these videos. Again, if you guys have watched for a long time, I'm not a big fan of detective mode at all. I think it's, especially early on, it definitely got better as the games went on. I completely get that. But like Asylum, like the detective mode, I thought was like absolutely awful. And I think, again, it got better as the games went on, but it wasn't good enough. I feel like it could definitely be done better. Now, is Warner Bros. Montreal the team that could make it better? I'm not sure. Hopefully they are, right? But I do want this to return. Again, this is the big one, though. This one, I don't want to return if it's like the exact same. If they're going to keep it the exact same way they've done it, don't even bother, in my opinion, again, just for me. But again, if you're going to bring it back and you're going to innovate and you're going to make it seem like, okay, you're actually very smart when you do this, you can do things that you could never have done before in detective mode, all that kind of stuff, then sign me up, right? This one is a little bit more drastic than the two kind of like hacking things, where it's like, if they brought it back and they were exactly, and really all of them, if they brought back the Batarang and it was exactly the same, fine. If they brought back the shot gloves and they were exactly the same, fine. The hacking devices and the sequencer, if they brought those back, I mean, they're okay. They're not the greatest thing in the world, but I am kind of a sucker for those kind of mini games, those kind of fun things, whatever. But I would like to see, again, some new things done. And then with this one, though, detective mode, I really want to see some really, really big innovation. Otherwise, I don't want it back. And the last one is explosive gel. So this goes with fighting. This goes with other things. Explosive gel has honestly been, I feel like maybe my favorite gadget that Batman has had in any of these Arkham games. Honestly, I mean, I guess again the listing on this wiki does add a lot of things that maybe I never thought of were gadgets, but. Obviously, even back in like Arkham Asylum, when you could kind of plan out your attack and have people walk in to the explosive gel. So later on in the game, remember, I believe in Arkham Asylum you couldn't even do like the quick attacks with explosive gel. But remember, as the games kind of evolved and the fighting styles evolved, a lot of these gadgets, a lot of these weapons, basically that you can use again to solve puzzles and use in kind of short bursts, you could use them just in a minute-to-minute fighting match, right? And the explosive gel was always so much fun to use. So I think this one honestly makes the list just because. And this one, by the way, if they brought back and it was exactly the same, fine. Honestly, they already have innovated on it, right? Because they've used it in different ways for puzzles. They've used it in different ways, again, kind of innovating with the fighting, where it never was part of the just minute-to-minute fighting mechanics. And now all of a sudden you can do the quick, you could do basically like the quick explosive gel, right? So I've always enjoyed it in these games in the past. It's always kind of been my favorite gadget. And so again, this is one that if they don't have this one, I will firstly be shocked, because I feel like when you think of some of the most kind of like notorious gadgets that Batman has used, kind of the most iconic, and by the way, I mean in the Arkham games, I think explosive gel is one of the ones that come to mind. It's one of the first ones you get in these games. It's one that's lasted all of these games. Besides the Batarang, honestly, I mean, maybe people can think of different ones. It's maybe like the Bat Claw, right? Which the Bat Claw does classify as a gadget. I will talk about that one in different videos. I wouldn't mind if that one wasn't brought back, but again, I'll talk about that later. But definitely explosive gel is my number 5. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What are some gadgets? Again, I guess you could do gadgets that are factually gadgets, or you could even go based off this wiki page. Which of these gadgets do you want them to bring back in this new Batman game? Which do you not want to bring back? Again, I'm gonna make, if this video does well enough, right, I will make that video. I'll talk about gadgets that I don't want to return. Again, as I've always said, if you guys want to see other videos like this, definitely let me know. I love making these ranking videos, and so whenever you guys come up with different kinds of ones that I have not yet done already, I definitely like to throw them in, okay? So thank you guys so much for the support. Let me know for more things you want to see in the future. I hope to see you guys on the next video.